I see a lot of times that when people get into business, they put such a heavy emphasis on setting goals and focusing on like what they want to achieve or what they think they can achieve. Like, I'm gonna try to get to this much money within this period of time. I'm gonna try to get this many followers within this period of time. And I don't think that's a good way to go about it. Because when I started out in business, I set such ridiculous goals, like huge goals, without even knowing how long it would take to even reach small goals. And I think the issue with being goal focused in the beginning of business is you kind of set yourself up for disappointment because you don't have the context to understand how many inputs actually go into creating a result, that you're going to think you can do so much more in so much less time than it'll actually take. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Jack. I'm an 18-year-old entrepreneur. I come on here and talk about what I'm doing to grow my business, the lessons I'm learning along the way. And this is one lesson that kind of came into my mind as I was driving home from working today, from a job I had. And I was just thinking about, I have a little notebook, like I have so many notebooks, but one of my notebooks, I remember like writing all these crazy things, like they were just nice, where I would just write about my goals, right? I was just like, oh, I'm gonna try to get to this blah 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 blah. I'm gonna do all this stuff with the military. Like, I thought I would be driving a Corvette by now. That's my dream car. Blue Corvette Z06, 2024, baby. It's literally the home screen of my computer. I'm looking at it right now as I record this video. But I thought that I would achieve such a huge amount of wealth within such a short time just because like I was grinding. I was doing so much work, which in reality, you can work so much more than you think you can work. And my standard for working is always going up, but that's a different video. It's a sidetrack. I probably wasn't even working that much back then, but like the point is, I just thought that I'd be able to grow so much. I remember the first revenue projection I made was like, I don't even know where I came up with these numbers, like a monthly revenue projection. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make blah 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 money next month. I'm just now making that money like now, and that was maybe 8 months ago. And it's like, the issue with focusing so much on your goals is, like I said, like you're gonna get disappointed. And that's why I think instead of focusing on goals in the beginning, you should focus on growth. And that has allowed me to deal with the seemingly like slow, boring, frustrating, just like goal missing, I guess, is like, it's like, all right, sure, I didn't start making $10,000 a month off Grib, but I've grown, and I grew the month before that, and I grew the month before that. Or for content, it's like, sure, I didn't get to 5K within 3 months, but like, I grew, for content specifically, Alex Ramosi told me this, is like, picture the amount of people in a room. Like, if you have 100 followers on Instagram, like, think about a room with 100 people. Like, you get to reach that audience every single day with a post, which is like super encouraging. So luckily, I think this is why a lot of people quit too, is because they're so focused on these goals. And a lot of people also don't have a long-term vision. A lot of people also aren't disciplined, and a lot of people can't deal with like slowness. Like, they just need to get everything out. Like, they don't have delayed gratification. And that combination just ruins people, because it's like, all right, you have such a huge goal, right, that you're trying to get, and then you have ignorance, and you think you're going to get there super fast. And then you also have, like, no delayed gratification mindset, where you're like, if you don't get there super fast, you're like, all right, well, I guess this didn't work. And that's not the case at all. You just have to execute every single day for a long period of time, and then you'll start seeing those results. And it's so simple, guys. It's so simple. Like, I think a lot of it has to do with the information I consume, because if I wasn't consuming like the Andy Frisellas, Alex Ramosi, just telling me that it's like, it takes a long fucking time to actually make money, and you just have to show up every day. You just have to keep getting a little bit better. You don't learn, or you don't make the same mistake twice, and you just like, you learn and you just go, and it's a slow climb. If I wasn't consuming all that positive information, like, I think I would have fallen in this trap where it's like, all right, well, I guess it didn't work. I might as well quit and move on to the next thing. And you can't do that. So that's why I'm here to tell you, as someone who's been in business for not a long time, like I'm a newbie. I'm a newbie enough where I can like remember this phase where I was setting all these goals, but I've also been doing it for a little bit over a year. And within the last 8 months, I've been able to 10x my income, or my revenue of my business, So not fully 10x my income, because that's like profit margin too, but I've been able to 10x the revenue of my business in 8 months. And if you would have asked me back then, like, would you want to 10x? Like, would that be a cool ass goal? I'd be like, yeah. But like I said at the beginning of this video, I thought that I would be making the money I was making now back then. So it's like now, I remember the first time I actually made like a real revenue projection and it actually made sense. I was like, okay, this is doable. And what I do now is I use real data to set real goals. So this is how goal setting kind of evolves. It's like, at first, you should literally just focus on getting better, because you're not gonna, like, you won't even know what kind of goals to set, because they're gonna be way too big for the short amount of time. And you're probably like, Jack, like, you're tearing down my dreams. It's like, you have no clue what it takes to even make $100 when you're starting out in business. So it's like, why are you shooting for the popular, like, you know, influencer, like, make 10K a month with this secret strategy? Like, it's bullshit. Like, if you don't know where your next customer is coming from, you have no business setting goals that big. And you might not want to hear that, but it's the truth. So that's what I'm saying. It's so much more positive to just focus on growing, right? So just grow for a while, and then that comes to the next part of this video, where it's like, all right, I've been growing for a while, I know more about it, like, I kind of get what I'm doing now, and I want to actually start setting goals. And like I said, I set those goals at the beginning, but then I kind of just wrote it down. I'm like, all right, as long as I'm growing, I'm happy. Now I'm at the point where I want to scale. I'm getting fucking aggressive about growth, and now I'm setting real goals. But I'm not setting goals the same way I set back then. I'm just focusing on, how can I get that extra $500 a month? How can I get that extra $1,000 a month? What are the actual inputs it's going to take me to get that extra 2, 3, 4, whatever customers? And I've actually broken it down into, like, I understand how many customers, like, I did a whole revenue, like a real revenue projection last month. And I hit it this month because I knew what I needed to do to get there. And I keep it small. I keep my goals small, but I want to see them, they go up every single month. And once you know, like, this is so empowering, because, like, once you break it down to simple numbers, it's like, you just have to do maybe an extra 10 reach outs a day, or an extra 5 pieces of content a week, or like whatever, to just get to that next step. And that's when you can start setting goals, because that's when you can start hitting goals. It's like, you actually know what you need to do to get there now, and you're not just like freeballing, making some shit up, like, I'm gonna own a mansion in Miami by the, like, next year. It's like, no, you're never gonna do that. You're not gonna do that fast. So that's what I think about goal setting. This was really just a run and gun video, so I hope it wasn't too all over the place. But yeah, guys, I think it hurts to set goals in the beginning, because you're not gonna hit them a lot of the time. But if you are growing, then you should be happy about that, because, you know, if you're trying to start a business, like, you should know that it's not easy. Like, you're signing up for something that kind of sucks, but it's worth it. So just focus on growing. Be happy with, like, just be happy with the little improvements, and then get to a point, maybe, like, I'd say a year in, or like whenever you feel confident enough that you know what you need to do to grow, and then set real goals with real numbers that you can hit from literally just putting in a certain amount of inputs. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Subscribe for more.